Hey everybody, what's going on? Eric here with Switch Adapted Toys, and today I'm going to be showing you how to adapt this Mickey's Toontown bubble blower that we picked up at Disneyland. If you haven't checked out our Disneyland video yet, I'll put a link in the description below. Basically, we took a family vacation to Disneyland, and while we were there, we did some shopping for some toys that we thought would be good candidates to Switch Adapt. Well, we picked up a lot of those toys and we brought them home, and now we're making how-to videos showing you how to adapt those toys. And another really cool thing that we did while we were at Disneyland is we picked up a couple Mickey bubble blowers and we adapted them, and we went back to the park and we gave them away to kiddos that we found that might need a Switch adapted toy. So they were able to play with the bubble blower inside the park, which was really cool. And I'll put a link in the description to that video if you want to check that out. Now, these toys are not exclusive just to Disneyland. You can pick these toys up on shopdisney.com, which is like their merch website. In fact, we picked up a lot of these toys there because we didn't have room in our luggage to bring them back home on the airplane. Don't feel like you have to be going to Disneyland to adapt one of these toys. You can pick one of those up there. If you're new to Switch Adapted Toys, or this is your first video and you just kind of stumbled across us, we're a 501c3 nonprofit organization, and our mission is to make play possible for kiddos of all abilities. We do that by creating how-to videos like this one, as well as we have a bunch of resources on our website, including files for you to 3D print your own Switch button. Everything that we produce is completely free, so if you want to check out all of our resources, you can do so on our website at www.switchtoys.org. All right, so let's go ahead and get into it. Now, there's a bunch of buttons on this toy that kind of do the same thing. There's a button on the handle, and there's two buttons on the front, and they all just kind of make some sound effects. So they all do kind of similar things. In fact, a lot of them make the same sound. So I don't think it's necessary for us to adapt each and every button. And I think the easiest place to adapt it is going to be right here in the handle. Hopefully we won't have to get into the main body of the toy very much to do that. The other thing we want to adapt is the bubble blowing function. Now there's a switch down here that turns the motor on. So we're gonna see if we can maybe adapt the switch, or maybe we'll have to get inside and adapt like the motor itself. But we'll get it apart. That's the first step, and let's see. So let's start by turning the toy over and removing the screws that are on the handle. All right, so I removed the screws on the handle. It looks like we need to remove the screws that are on this yellow piece here as well. All right, so with those screws removed, we should be able to remove this yellow piece. There we go. And hopefully that will release our handle. Yep. Set that aside. And here's the button that activates the sounds. I'm just gonna remove the button cap, and I can pull out the circuit board. There we go. And then here is our switch. All right, so this one is gonna be really easy to adapt. Basically, what we're gonna do is just solder our headphone jack wires to the same points on this little circuit board that these wires are hooked up to. That will basically make our external switch bypass this switch button whenever it's pressed. So that one is super easy. This one, I've been playing around with this switch for a little bit, and I don't think we're actually gonna be able to adapt this switch, which is kind of a bummer because it'd be really easy just to have to deal with the handle. But the switch does a bunch of things when it turns things on. It turns the lights, turns the motor on, and there's not like two places on there that I could identify that I could adapt. Now, if you have this toy, you figured it out, put it in the comments below, but I don't think that we can really just adapt the switch itself. So what that means is we're gonna need to get into the main body here. So there's 3 screws here on this red section, and we need to get those off, and let's take a look at what's inside. All right, so with those 3 screws removed, we can remove or kind of separate the barrel here. And there's wires connected to that light, so just be careful that you don't pull those out. And let's see, so here's the motor. There's 2 wires that are going to it. I'm gonna just kind of pull out the bottom section that just kind of slots into the barrel. All right, so here's our fan motor, and there's two wires that lead to it. There's a blue and a green wire. Now, what I'm gonna do is basically cut this blue wire. Your wire colors could be different, but I'm gonna cut this wire and I'm gonna solder my headphone jack wire to it. So essentially, the circuit will always be open unless the button is pressed, which then would complete the circuit. I'm gonna show you a really cool way to do this without actually soldering anything. But you could also just solder your headphone jack wires to this wire. So we're gonna basically snip this wire, strip back some of the casing, and then you could solder it. And then you'd wanna protect it with either some electrical tape or some heat shrink wire cover. So you could definitely do it that way. I'm gonna show you an even easier way to do it. So before we solder our headphone jack wires, we need to drill some holes in this toy so that we can get our wires into the toy. So I've kind of set everything kind of back into place where it goes, and I'm just trying to looking to see where I want to drill my hole. And I think a good place is gonna be kind of right here on the side of the barrel to the right of Chip and Dale. You just wanna make sure you're not gonna hit anything like structural or any electrical components. So I'm just gonna kind of drill from this side, pick a spot and drill through. That will kind of give me the shortest distance to get to those wires. So that's what I'm gonna do now. All right, so now that I've got my hole drilled, I can go ahead and fish my headphone jack wire through the hole. All right, so this is a little bit of a mess because there's so many wires and like hoses to go into each of the parts that I can't separate things out too well. So I'm gonna do my best to show you what I'm doing here. I'm gonna start by just snipping this blue wire kind of in the middle so that I've got room on both ends that I could strip back. Just like that. And then once I've cut that wire, I'm gonna use some wire strippers to strip back some of the casing. And I'm gonna do the same thing to the other half of the other wire. And I also need to strip back some of the wire on my headphone jacks themselves. A little tip is exposed, but I want a little bit more. All right, so I've stripped back a little bit of extra casing there on those wires. And now what I wanna show you are these splicing connectors. You don't need to use any solder for these. Ideally, you would just have a 2. This is a 3-wire connector, but it doesn't really matter. As long as it'll all fit in the toy, it'll be fine. All you do is basically pull these open, pop these up, and I'm just gonna slip my wire into one of these connectors. Push it all the way in, and then just push it shut. And you kind of give it a tug and make sure that it's attached. And I'm gonna go ahead and just do the other one as well with another connector. Open that up, stick in the red, and shut it down, just like that. All right, so now I can attach these to the blue wires. Now, I don't have a whole lot of extra wire here, so bear with me as I show you, but I'm just gonna push that in, snap it down, and just make sure that it's secure. And if you need to, you can kind of just twist your wire just to kind of make it nice and neat. There's not a lot of room in here, so I apologize. You're probably not gonna be able to see until I'm done, but I'm just slipping it into the connector and snapping it down and just making sure that it's got a good connection. So right now, I basically have put this headphone jack in between that blue wire. So the circuit will be open until we stick in a button and press it down to close the circuit. So what we can do now is give this whole thing a test. So I've turned the switch on, and you can see the lights turned on, but the motor did not turn on. And I'm gonna plug in my button and give it a press and see if it works. There we go. So anytime we hold down the button, we complete the circuit and the fan will blow. All right, so that all works great. So now we need to do is secure this headphone jack so that a child or somebody doesn't pull on this cord and just disconnect everything. So we're gonna use a zip tie. I'm just going to wrap the zip tie around the wire on the inside of the toy. And I wanna put it in a place where I know it's going to actually engage with the side of the toy before it like would actually pull the connections. So you can kind of just eyeball that. You also don't want to leave a whole lot of slack in there just in case something gets caught or gets in the way. And I'm going to go ahead and cut off the extra zip tie. Now I find the smaller the zip tie, the better. It just seems to grip the wire better. So find a small zip tie. And what I like to do for a little extra security is I like to use some CA glue or some super glue. And I just kind of dab it around that zip tie. Just like that. And that will kind of lock it into place. And you can use some activator spray and that will basically instantly dry that super glue. Okay, so the motor switch is complete. So we can go ahead and kind of put everything back together. I'm gonna move these connectors kind of out of the way. Hopefully there's enough room in this case to use these connectors. That's kind of the biggest downside when using these connectors is that they take up a good bit of space. So if you've got a really tight enclosed space, they may not work. All right, so we got the bottom back on, other half of the barrel back on, and I'm just gonna go ahead and screw in those screws that held it together. Be careful that you don't over tighten them, especially if you're using a power drill. So now we need to get our headphone jack wire into this handle so that we can get our wire to that switch. So I need to drill another hole into the handle. I'm gonna kind of drill it probably in the middle here. And that'll allow me to fish my wire up. So I'm gonna drill right through there. And now we can fish our headphone jack wire through there. And before we solder to the switch, what I like to do is get a little bit of solder on the wires themselves. You just kind of want like a little bit of a blob on there. And then that will make it a lot easier when we actually go to solder our wire to the circuit board. Just like that. And now we can solder our wires to the two points on that circuit board where the wires are already attached. And you can kind of give your wire a little bit of a tug and make sure that it's secure. Alrighty, give your wire a tug and make sure it's secure. All right, so now we can plug in a switch button and just see if it works. There we go. All right, so now we're gonna do the same thing with this wire as we did the other. So we're gonna put a zip tie around the wire on the inside of the toy. Now here, I need to be really careful that I don't leave extra slack because it won't fit if we do. So I'm just gonna kind of get everything kind of in place here so I know exactly where I need that zip tie to be. So I'm gonna reinsert this circuit board back into this little slot. Okay. Now I know where to put my zip tie. Cinch it down real tight. Go ahead and snip off any extra. And then we're gonna secure it with a little CA glue. All right, so now we can go ahead and get everything put back together. I'm gonna start by kind of reinstalling one half of this yellow piece. I think that's gonna help me kind of get everything in place where I need it to be to hold this handle. All right, and I'm gonna make sure my switch is back into its slot. Make sure my wire is out of the way. And before we close up the other side of the handle, we need to reinstall the button. And we also need to install the strap if you want it back on there. So that just kind of gets put, there's a little peg in there. And then it should all fit together. There we go. And then this other yellow piece goes on. And we can go ahead and screw it all back together. So that's pretty much it. Let's plug in a button and just make sure that everything still works. There we go, there's the sound. And this should be the motor. There we go. All right, so that's pretty much it. Pretty easy toy to adapt. What I will say about the bubble blower is if you've got just a standard switch, when the bubbles will only run when the button is being pressed. So if I hold down the button, the bubbles will start blowing, the fan's going. I don't have the bubbles installed right now. But then as soon as I let go of the button, the motor stops. So if your child struggles to press and hold a button, you might want to look into picking up a tiny switchy. Now we have these on our website. What this basically does is turns your standard switch or any switch into a toggle switch. So all I have to do is plug my switch into the input here on the tiny switchy and the output into the toy. And now if I set it on the right mode, if I got it on toggle mode, all I have to do is press this button once and it continues to run until I press the button again and it turns it off. So that's really handy if your child can't press and hold the button. What's also really cool about this tiny switchy is you can turn it on to timer mode. So if I turn it to timer mode and now I just hold this time button down for however long I want, it'll continue to press and simulate a button hold for that amount of time. So if I do 5 seconds, ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now if when I hit my button, it'll play for that amount of time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's super handy if you, or maybe even if you're like a therapist or something like that and you're working on repetitive movements and you're using a switch as, you know, motivation, you can still, you don't have to necessarily hold the button, but it won't continue to go until you press it again. So there's a bunch of options here with the tiny switchy. If you want to pick one of these up, we do have them on our website and you can check that out, www.switchtoys.org. And again, Switch Adapted Toys is a 501c3 nonprofit organization, and our mission is to make play possible for kiddos of all abilities. We do that by creating these how-to videos, as well as we have tons of resources on our website all about Switch Adapting Toys, and you can find all that at www.switchtoys.org. And if you've got a group or an organization and you want to adapt toys for kids in your community kind of on a bigger scale, you could look into forming what we call a Switch chapter, and we kind of help guide you through that process. So if you want to find out more about that, you can do so on our website, www.switchtoys.org. Lastly, if you're interested in a Switch Adapted toy, but doing it yourself isn't your thing, that's totally fine. We've got you covered. We have an adapted toy shop on our website where you can pick up a pre-adapted toy that's ready to go, ready to play with. You can also pick up our free files on there, as well as assembled buttons if you'd like, as well as that tiny switchy that I showed you earlier. So a lot of options there, all on our website. Again, www.switchtoys.org. I'll put a link in the description below. If you like this video, if you find it helpful, make sure you hit the like button and hit subscribe to stay up to date on all our latest videos. That's pretty much it. My name is Eric with Switch Adapted Toys, and we'll see you next time.
Switch Adapted Toys, making play possible.